Hey everyone, Barry here from Beyond the Pavement. Last season I made a change to my tire setup that I promised I'd report back on. And well, 9,700 kilometers later, I've got the real world results you've been asking for.
I swapped from running the full Motoz Tractionator Adventure setup, front and rear, to keeping the Adventure on the rear but switching to the Motoz Tractionator DualVenture up front. The big question was, would this combo give me better on-road manners without sacrificing the off-road capability I need? And here's the thing, I didn't just putter around Calgary to test these. This season I put them through the ringer. Over this past season I covered 9,700 kilometers on this tire combo. And it wasn't just commuting miles, I'm talking about serious adventure riding.
Let me break down where these tires actually went. The Idaho BDR, that was 3,900 kilometers of some of the most challenging off-road terrain I've tackled. Rocky technical sections, loose gravel, creek crossings, and everything in between. Then I did a BC Canada trip, another 2,500 kilometers of mixed terrain from highway, slabs to forestry service roads. And in between, a moto camping shakedown weekend of 1,200 kilometers. And the rest was day trips around Calgary. So we're looking at roughly a 50-50 split between highway pavement, half off-road, and honestly, that's exactly the kind of riding most adventure riders actually do, even if we'd like to pretend we're full-time dirt demons.
Let's start with the rear, the Motoz Tractionator Adventure. This is the same tire I ran last season, and it's still the workhorse on this setup. After 9,700 kilometers, I've still got tread left on this tire. The Tractionator Adventure is technically a 70-30 tire. That's 70% off-road and 30% on-road. But I'm here to tell you it works brilliantly as a 50-50 tire. Off-road, especially on the Idaho BDR, this tire just grips. Whether it was rocky trails, loose gravel, or those sketchy river crossings where you're thinking, this might be a bad idea, the Tractionator was confidence-inspiring. The tread design, with those big, aggressive blocks, just bites into whatever you're riding on. On pavement, it's a bit of a trade-off. The grip is excellent. I've never felt sketchy in corners, even when loaded down with camping gear. But yeah, it's noisy. If you're sensitive to tire drone on the highway, you'll notice it. That said, it's not vibration, just noise. And honestly, after a few hundred kilometers, you kind of tune it out, especially with earplugs in. Now, the front tire. This is where things get interesting. The Motoz Tractionator DualVenture.
Remember last season, I mentioned the full Adventure front tire was noisy and had some stability issues at higher highway speed, especially above 140 kilometers per hour. Well, the DualVenture solves that problem completely. What makes the DualVenture unique is it's a bi-directional tread pattern. Look at this and see how the treads can work in either direction. That's not just a gimmick. It means that the tire starts to wear one way, you can actually remove it, flip it around, and get a whole new wear pattern, essentially doubling your tire life.
The DualVenture is designed as a 70% off-road, 30% on-road tire. Same philosophy as the Adventure rear, but what Motoz has done here is create a front tire that's still highly capable off-road, while being significantly more civilized on the highway.
On the pavement, the difference from last year is night and day. The DualVenture is noticeably quieter than the Adventure front I was running. And that high-speed wobble I experienced above 140 kilometers per hour, gone. Completely stable, even when I'm loaded up with gear for a multi-day trip. But here's the thing. I didn't sacrifice off-road performance to get those on-road improvements. On the Idaho BDR through rocky sections and sandy washes, this front tire hooked up beautifully. The self-cleaning tread design means it sheds mud and doesn't pack up. The hybrid compound with silica gives you that grip in all conditions, mud, rain, and whatever you throw at it.
All right, so here's the cool part that a lot of people have been asking about, rotating a bi-directional tire. At 6,300 kilometers, I pulled the front tire off and flipped it around.
So what's changed after that rotation? Honestly, the performance stayed excellent. The tire felt fresh, which makes sense because now you're just using less worn side of each tread block. The stability remained great and the noise levels didn't change. And off-road grip was still spot on. The big win is longevity. By rotating at 6,300 kilometers, I'm confident I'll get at least 12,000 kilometers, maybe more, out of this front tire. Compare that to a traditional front tire that might give you 8,000 kilometers, and suddenly that higher upfront cost makes a lot of sense. My advice, Rotate around the halfway point of expected tire life. Watch for uneven wear patterns and don't even wait until the tire is too worn. You want to flip it while there's still good tread to work with. Let's talk money, because these tires aren't cheap. The DualVenture front and the Adventure rear combo will run you more than budget Adventure tires, but here's how I look at it. Based on my wear patterns and what other riders are reporting, I'm projecting 12,000 to 13,000 kilometers from the front DualVenture with rotation, and potentially 11,000 kilometers from the rear Adventure. And that's serious mileage. When you break it down to cost per kilometer and factor in the performance you're getting, the confidence off-road, the stability on-road, the lack of compromises, these tires actually represent really good value.
Who is this tire combo best suited for? I'd say adventure riders who generally split their riding 50-50 or even 60-40 off-road to on-road. If you're mostly on pavement with occasional gravel roads, there are better street-biased options. If you're 80% dirt, you might want full knobbies. But if you're like me, you want to tackle the Idaho BDR, ride through BC's backcountry, and still be comfortable on the highway slabs connecting those adventures, this combo hits the sweet spot.
So the final verdict, would I run this combo again? Absolutely. The Motoz Tractionator Adventure rear and DualVenture front has proven itself over nearly 10,000 kilometers of serious riding. The off-road performance is excellent. The on-road manners are way better than last year's setup, and the longevity is impressive. Tire rotation capability of the DualVenture is generally useful, but not a marketing gimmick. And knowing I can squeeze 12,000 plus kilometers out of the front tire makes the price tag easier to swallow. If you're running Motoz tires or considering them, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments below. What tire combo are you running? How many kilometers are you getting? Drop a comment and let's talk tires.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review and want more real-world adventure riding content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got more trips planned, more gear reviews coming, and plenty of stories from the road.